let me tell you something. The fans here are fired up for this showdown. During the introductions, it got so loud and crazy, I could barely hear myself think. And if it gets that loud during the game, the Cowboys will have to rely on a silent count to help the offense function. Now, what the silent count is a series of hand signals and foot signals that prompt the start of an offensive play. And, Pat, let me tell you something. If the Cowboys aren't precise in that silent count, there could be more than setting the clocks back an hour that makes this a long day. Pat?
All right, DJ. And the Colts have won the toss, so Peyton Manning will lead his offensive group first as the Cowboys will be on defense. I'd like to welcome those of you who are just joining us to see the Giants beat the Eagles in overtime, 23-17.
With another big old lineman scoring a touchdown to win a game. I don't know if it's just me or if there's more big old linemen scoring touchdowns in the league this year than any other I can remember.
Well, we saw Greg Ellis do it twice for the Cowboys. We saw Strahan do it today. We saw Big Daddy do it for Washington today earlier. 88 yards he rambled. Toby going to kick it off. And it's high and headed for Terrence Wilkins. And watch out for this guy. He's dangerous. Wilkins to the 30. Out of bounds at about the 35. Let's have a look at that Indianapolis offense. Led by Peyton Manning. A star already and headed for superstar days. The offensive line, Glenn, McKinney, Moore, Jackson, and Meadows. Very young and very smart. James, Wilkins, Harrison, Pollard, and Dilger will handle the ball for the Colts. Peyton Manning. 13 touchdown passes already this year. And he is the real thing. Back to throw is Manning. Screen pass underneath. Edgerrin James. Greg Ellis tripped him up, and let's look at the Dallas defense. Pittman and Ellis the ends. Alonzo Spellman and Chad Hennings both enjoying great years in the middle. Coakley, Godfrey, and Hambrick the linebackers. And the secondary, Deion Sanders, Kevin Smith, the cornerbacks, Izell Reese, and Darren Woodson. Kenny Wheaton gets some playing time when they go in the long yardage situation.
And Deion Sanders isn't on Marvin Harrison on this play.
Manning gets it outside to James, and James is hit hard behind the line of scrimmage. First there was Randall Godfrey. Another in that defensive unit playing very well.
Yeah, that has great speed. I mean, that's the thing. Randall Godfrey was an outside linebacker. They moved him to the middle. And all these guys have great speed. And the minute that they see or feel something, they can get right to it. They're very good tacklers and almost have the same speed as the running back does.
So it's 3rd and 9.
Look at this lineman out here.
A little stack up receiver job. 3 wideouts they go this time. And Manning goes deep. Too deep. Intended for Wilkins, and over his head, out of his reach.
Yeah, and that Terrence Wilkins can run, and you know that they have confidence in him because he was on Deion Sanders. They were going to test Deion Sanders. We thought it would be Marvin Harrison. They put Wilkins over there on that side, a guy with great speed, and of course Deion Sanders just ran stride for stride with him.
And Sanders back to return the punt, and he attracts some attention. Hunter Smith will do the punting for Indianapolis.
Deion's about as fired up on one of these things as he gets.
Smith's punt goes line drive to Sanders. He'll have a chance to work with this one. And Deion steps up and steps out, and there he goes. All I need to do is see the punter, and I'm gone, and he's got the punter in sight. And the punter takes him down at the 2.
He told us yesterday if he ever sees the punter, he knows that it's a touchdown. That time it was Hunter Smith, the punter, and he tackled him, but there was still a great return by Deion Sanders. It was a bad punt by Hunter Smith because he gave him a line drive, and like you said, the ball's a line drive and bounce. And if you see when Deion catches it, he has a 10-point gap there to make the first guy miss. Then he makes the second guy miss. Then he finds a seam right there. Then he sees the punter. And he said, if I can make eye contact with the punter, I know it's a touchdown. He made eye contact with the punter, and the punter ran him down.
He looked like he just ran out of gas.
Either that or he started his celebration a little too soon.
First and goal at the 2 for the Cowboys.
It was still a heck of a play, though. And, of course, it gives the Cowboys great field position here.
That was Michael Irvin. He was just hugging. There's Emmitt Smith burrowing down. Touchdown, the Cowboys for the first play from scrimmage. They lead at 6-0 already.
Yep, and they know exactly what to do. They get down there in their goal line. They're going to give it to Emmitt Smith. They're going to get right in there behind Larry Allen, and they're going to make movement down there. You see, it's going to be right in here. See, they get the double lead there. Larry Allen gets his guy going back. Big Flozell Adams, he takes a couple with him, and they get that whole left side going back in the end zone.
And they have a new fullback, Robert Thomas, who also did an excellent job.
I mean, they can create some power on that one side.
That was Emmitt Smith's 132nd rushing touchdown. Those Saints can find a lot of different ways to lose, can't they?
Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns with their first win, and I'm sure everyone wants to see now what Mike Ditka's press conference is going to be like. Whew.
I wouldn't want to be too close to it.
No, you'd want to be about 10 yards away, about as far away as that first wave was from Deion Sanders when he caught that line drive punt. I'll tell you, he's such a dimension now. I mean, Deion Sanders is probably the most dominant player in football. I mean, you know that he can take away a field, and look at these moves that he makes to get free. I mean, he just doesn't run free. I mean, he makes himself get free. He has a few blocks and lets his speed do it.
Toby going to kick off to Terrence Wilkins at the goal line, maybe about the 1, and Wilkins gets up to the 30. He's exciting. Before the game, as of course you know, the anthem is played or sung, and here is before the game.
And the home of the brave.
4 years old, no notes, just a teddy bear.
And his hat in his hand. That was something. I'll tell you, that was one of the loudest ovations when he finished that national anthem that I've heard in the stadium in a long time.
Yep. First and 10 at the 31. Excuse me, Joe.
Those kids are out trick-or-treating, and he's out here singing the national anthem. Deion Sanders isn't in on this series, Pat.
James goes straight ahead. Deion ran out of oxygen, I guess.
Yeah, and he's replacing it now. What is oxygen? O2?
I think so.
Yeah, he got to get some O2 in there, and you can see that he's trying to replace that he used on that. You know, because that's the problem with being a punt returner and a defensive player, is you go right from playing defense. And remember, the last defensive play was that up that he had to cover.
Yep.
Then he returned the punt.
Charlie Williams has taken his place. Here's James again. First down, Colts. He's the only running back that's carried the ball this year for the Indianapolis Colts.
You know, they say that the Colts are being built a lot like the Cowboys were. Remember when Troy Aikman was young, and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith, as they would Edgerrin James and Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning, that, you know, they're the same type of thing. And you can see that. I mean, Edgerrin James is a real deal. Marvin Harrison is a real deal. Peyton Manning is a real deal.
There's Peyton Manning outside to James. Godfrey again.
But this Cowboy defense really does. They're very aggressive, and they really do pursue and gang tackle well. And Peyton Manning was telling us the other day that one of the things that he wants to do is to throw the ball more to James. I mean, he thinks that Edgerrin James can not only be a good running back in this league, but can be an every down player and a real good receiver. And they want to use more of that in today's game.
Well, you know, when you give up a Marshall Faulk, you better have some high hopes for whoever replaces him. Here's James. The Cowboys swarm around and they're saying we have it, but I'm not sure.
That was one of the things they do worry about James. Not only the fumbling, but the slow start. You know, he has a pretty good second quarters and third quarters and fourth quarters, and he has very poor play in the first quarters.
Greg Ellis hit James, knocked the ball loose.
That's the thing that'll get you on that side is penetration. And you see, I think the ball started to come out, Pat, before Ellis ever got there.
I think so, too.
I think as he put it to his right side, the ball just starts to slide out. You see, it starts
got
to
a hand
slide.
in there.
Yep, he did have a hand in there.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
But there, that's the thing that'll get you is that penetration on that side, and Greg Ellis got the penetration on that side.
3rd and 13, shotgun formation for Peyton Manning and the Colts. 3 wide receivers. Manning outside James again. Not enough for a first.
Now that's part of it.
He fumbled again. But the Colts have the ball.
That's part of their plan today is again to get the ball in the hands of James, and he does. The last 2 times he had the ball, he fumbled. That ball went out of bounds, and of course once it hits that sideline, you cannot bring it in. But I think the plan of not throwing to James or throwing to James, they better change off of that and start throwing to their receivers. And
Jeff Ogden back in place of Deion Sanders, who's still out.
I tell you, that took a heck of a lot of oxygen out of Deion Sanders, didn't it? But I think part of it was covering Terrence Wilkins on the up on the play before that, and then the return, the combination of those 2 things. In fact, he still looks like he's a little woozy from you know, not only a lack of oxygen, but he looks a little woozy. Remember that hit that he took last week against the Redskins?
The kick is blocked by Hunter Smith. Blocked by the Cowboys, who have the ball at the Colt 24-yard line.
And then there's going to be another 15 yards against them. Against the Colts, that is.
An extracurricular.
Yeah, that was Tito Wooten.
Yep, a nudge.
Yeah, Tito Wooten came up and he threw a punch. Let's see the block here. One, I don't think the ball ever got up. I mean, the ball was low, and the ball hits the hand before it ever gets up.
Hit Lemansky Hall, I think, or Hambrick, one of the 2.
They were the 2 that were there.
1st and 10, Cowboys at the Colt 25. Aikman drops to throw it to Rocket Ishmael. Let's look at the Dallas offense. They haven't had too much time on the field. Troy Aikman, the quarterback. 87 wins in the 90s, the most by anyone. Adams, Allen, Stepnoski, Everett McIver, who had the flu, and Eric Williams. Smith, Robert Thomas, the backs, Ishmael, Mills, and LaFleur, the receiver.
Yeah, I saw him throw a flag on that play, Pat, at the end of the play, and they didn't penalize him at all.
Here's Emmitt Smith, another flag down as Emmitt gets down close to the 10.
Because I saw at the end of the play, Tito Wooten threw a punch at a Cowboy, and a flag came out, and then they didn't penalize him.
Prior to the snap, false start.
False start against the Cowboys.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Here's the Colt defense now. They're young, as is the offense. Bratsky, the ex-Giant, Johnson, Whittington, and Sean King. The 3 linebackers, Peterson, Barber, and Cordelius Bennett. Longtime veteran. Tyrone Poole and Jeff Burris, the cornerbacks. Belcher and Cota, the safeties. 2nd and 8. Aikman to Smith. Smith inside the 15. That's near another 1st down for Dallas.
You know, and he gets right in behind Larry Allen again. That's a little draw block, and Larry Allen will start up. You see, and he'll start up to invite his guy to the outside. You see, here's Ellis Johnson, not a bad player here. And you see that Larry Allen is so strong that he just gets him turned and knocked right out of the hole. then that creates the hole for Emmitt Smith to run in.
First down, Cowboys at about the 12. Aikman gives again to Emmitt Smith, and this time Emmitt doesn't have much room. Ellis Johnson on the bottom of that pile.
Yeah, one of the things that the Colts were worried about, and Jim Moore had talked about, is one, that his defense really isn't good enough yet. I mean, that's the area that he still has to build in, and one, that they're not as good as he'd like to be, and two, they're not as big as he'd like to be, and he worries about this physical mismatch that you can kind of see happening right here now already.
Ishmael goes to the right. Alvin Harper is wide left. Aikman in the direction of Harper, incomplete. Tyrone Poole.
That was good coverage by Tyrone Poole. Remember Tyrone Poole? We saw him when he played for Carolina against Jerry Rice. As he was a rookie, played a great game against Jerry Rice. Here he makes a play here, just jumps up, gets his right hand in, and knocks that ball out of Alvin Harper's hand.
3rd and 7.
The Cowboys aren't getting in a shotgun here, so they don't have to use a silent count. They'll use a silent count in a shotgun.
And they give the ball to Emmitt Smith straight ahead, who won't get enough for a first, and we'll see the field goal unit headed on.
This is the approach that I don't like. Remember, this is the approach that they took against Philadelphia. This is the approach that they took against the Giants. The non-aggressive approach. 3rd down, you're closer. Go for the end zone again. Take a 3rd down shot.
You're already close enough for a field goal.
Yeah, and you have too many yards to make it on the run.
Right.
So it was kind of a give-up play, and I think that they're going to have to score some more points, because I still say the Colts can score points.
Richie Cunningham should make this one 4 out of 9 on the year. This would make him back up to 500 if he hits. And he hits. 10-0. Dallas leads. Next Sunday it's live bass fishing. Like you've
big deal. You have what? You have a cousin?
My cousin, yes.
Yeah, your cousin's in bass fishing.
And big time.
Just watch Larry Allen here. When he gets pushed back, then he falls on someone. How'd you like to be the guy down there? He's just on the ground, not bothering anyone, and big old Larry Allen comes and flops right on him.
We ought to keep that, because I don't think I've ever seen Larry Allen get pushed backward before.
Well, the play was over.
Yeah,
he didn't care. You know, and he knows enough, and he has enough poise, and he's a smart enough player that you don't do anything about those situations other than flop on some guy who's laying on the ground.
Most of all, you don't get him mad. Kickoff by Goins, sails down to Wilkins, who gets back to about the 18. And right now, for an update, let's return again to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Pat and John, St. Louis, John.
So now there are no unbeaten teams in the NFL. Deion Sanders back in the game in the Cowboy defensive unit.
That St. Louis still has to be impressive fighting back, though, because I saw the beginning of that game, and they were down 21-0.
They got down 24-0. Here's Manning back to throw it. Fires up to his tight end, Dilger. First down. Up close to the 40. Like to welcome those of you who watched the Redskins get back on the scoring track and beat the Chicago Bears 48-22. Welcome to the Dome in Indianapolis, where the Cowboys lead Indianapolis 10-0.
6, 8, 10, 11.
5:50 left to play in the first quarter. Peyton Manning and the Colts on offense.
Marvin Harrison down on this bottom side, not against Deion Sanders.
Manning. Harrison, not quite a first, or did he get far enough?
I think it's going to be right at the first, but it is a first down before that, so it doesn't make any difference. There you see Kevin Smith is playing off a little. He's given Marvin Harrison a cushion, so Harrison comes up like he's going to go deep, pushes him up, and then just stops and runs a hook pattern. But to get that open, You have to have great speed that Marvin Harrison does, and you have to sell that you're going to go deep.
And he did a good job of doing all that.
And you know, he's talking to Peyton Manning now, and they're probably talking about the next time they will go deep. I mean, he'll use that, you know, kind of hook and go or an out and up or a double move on Kevin Smith.
Well, the Cowboys had said that some of the time Deion Sanders will go with Harrison.
I think Deion Sanders is still tired.
I think he is
I
too.
do. I mean, just looking at him out there in the field, I think he's still covering from that punt return.
Well, you know, he didn't have any training camp.
Yeah, and then he, you know, rehab that toe all the time. Couldn't do, you know, a lot of work, and then, you know, being in shape. To be in shape is one thing. Being in shape to play a lot of downs of football is another kind of shape.
And the only way to get in that kind of shape is to do it. I'd like to welcome those of you. We were just talking about St. Louis losing to Tennessee. Welcome to those of you who watched that game to the Dome in Indianapolis. The Cowboys lead the Colts 10-0. We're in the first quarter. James straight ahead for the first down. Some of the earlier games, St. Louis loses to Tennessee, so now there are no remaining undefeated teams. Steve McNair returned and had 2 touchdown passes and scored 1 on the ground himself. And the Cleveland Browns got their first win. Their first win as an expansion team as they beat New Orleans. Manning back to throw. And throws across the middle. That's Terrence Wilkins coming across from the other side.
Yeah, Terrence Wilkins was lined up on Deion, and one of the things that they thought that they can get on Deion is they can come here and run across and get that. He's hard to get an up, he's hard to get a post, but you can't come across here because at a point he's going to let you go. And at that thing, I don't know, maybe the point that Deion let him go was right there at the end, but this is one of the things that they feel, and I've always felt, there's if anything you can get on Deion Sanders, it's a crossing pattern.
They have Wilkins out on Deion again, and Harrison's to the right. James near the 30 in Cowboy territory. Stopped by Godfrey.
You know, Deion Sanders, Pat, I think is just taking himself out. I think he's walking off. Well, I'm looking at it right now. I know he's walking off the field, but I saw him after that play, after running on that crossing, and there's something wrong with him other than just being tired.
Well, that shows you right there.
You remember the concussion he had last week too, and you know, and he got really whiplashed on that thing and didn't remember anything for about a half. Came back in the game, probably shouldn't have. And then I don't know, you don't know what's going on now, but it's more than tired.
Manning gets it to Wilkins. He was almost hit just as he let it go.
He was whipsawed.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, you know, Peyton Manning, because he gets rid of the ball so quickly, he's only been sacked 3 times. But a lot of that isn't his offensive line. A lot of that is him just getting rid of the ball quickly.
3rd down and about 2, we'll call it. They need to get to that yellow line, which they can't see, but you can.
Out here.
A stacked deck out there, and here comes Harrison in motion. Or Wilkins. The ball is batted away by Kavika Pittman. Nobody blocked him.
Yeah, that's a tough one when you have to throw to the side where the free guy is coming. You see Peyton Manning comes now, he has to throw to that side, and Kavika Pittman knows that if you're not going to get to the guy, you just stop and go up in the air and you take his lane away from him. And Kavika did that perfectly.
Mike Vanderjagt to try for the field goal with Steve Walsh holding. Plenty long enough and plenty good enough from 43 yards away. And so the Cowboy lead is now 10-3. 2:22 left in the first quarter. Next week on Fox NFL Sunday, Kurt Warner and the NFC West leading Rams battle the surprising Lions, plus other regional action. Coverage begins an hour before kickoff with the pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Brett Favre will be in Green Bay next week. Brett Favre scheduled to make the NFL record 117th consecutive start by a quarterback. Danny Kite to kick it off. The Colts, one of the, maybe the only team that carries 3 kickers.
Because they can't get the ball in the end zone. Yeah. That's why.
And now they're going to bring this one back to the, all the way back up close to midfield as the kick went out of bounds.
You know, they worry about not getting
Kick
the
off
ball
out of bounds on the kicking team. By rule, the ball be placed at the 40-yard line. Timeout.
I was just going to say that, you know, they worry about not getting the ball to the goal line or the end zone. When you put it out of bounds, it comes back to the 40, and that's a killer.
Cowboys 10, Indianapolis 3, 2:17 left in the first quarter. Ball control doesn't mean everything, does it?
Not if you have special teams that return punts and block punts.
Lucky was the man in motion. Aikman is the man back to throw and throws to Emmitt Smith. Gained about 5, a flag on the play. Cornelius Bennett stopped Emmitt.
Poor old Chad Bratsky was trying to rush that thing. Chad Bratsky, the free agent the Colts got from the Giants, and he's playing against Flozell Adams. It's so big, he is really tough to get around.
The play. The illegal contact happened after the pass was thrown. Second down.
No flag. Bill Carollo, the referee.
Chad Bratsky, when he played for the Giants, he played against Larry Allen when Larry Allen was the left tackle. So he said, he told Ellis Johnson, he said, I'll just tell you one thing about playing against Larry Allen. He said, never take a play off or you'll end up being next to the safety. He said, he'll blow you all the way to the safety. The safety way back here.
There's Emmitt. Dancing close to the first down. He may have it. Jeff Burris made the stop.
This is one of the things the Cowboys are going to be able to do to this defense. They're going to be able to just kind of manhandle that front of the Colts.
So much bigger.
Bigger and stronger, but I don't think you want to get so enamored with that you forget to take your shots.
Right.
I mean, I think that's part of it. And you do that, and you do that, and you wear them down. But somewhere you have to throw the ball out here to Rocket Ismail. You know, see if you can get him on a deep one.
2 tight ends set up this time for the Cowboys. Lucky is the move man. He leads Emmitt. Emmitt Smith gets about 3.
They're talking about Rocket Ismail and the things that he does, and we know how he'll run a reverse and has good speed, but he's also a good blocker. You know, they tried to get the 8th man up that time to help in the run, and it was Chad Cota. Rocket Ismail just came in here and blocked him. And I think I was talking to Troy Aikman, I remember a couple of weeks ago, and he says the biggest thing that surprises him about Rocket Ismail is how good a blocker he is. Not that he just doesn't do it, but he's very good at it.
And he's not big. Robert Thomas moves in front of Emmitt. Aikman looking and throwing and hits the Rocket. No, it's not the Rocket. It's Ernie Mills.
And he had to scramble a little. He had some pressure from his backside. Here's Ernie Mills here. Now this is just against a zone defense. You see, he has him inside out, and he just works right between both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he starts up and then he just pushes back, and Troy Aikman sees that and leads him. Now you can lead a guy to the right or to the left. You can lead him up, or you can lead him back towards you, and that's what Troy did.
And he got a first down. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. With the score, the Cowboys 10, the Colts 3. Fox NFL Sunday from the RCA Dome will continue after these messages. John Madden back in Indianapolis at the Dome. Dallas 10, the Colts 3. Second quarter's first play coming. Aikman. Across the middle, intended for LaFleur, incomplete. First quarter statistics. 25 and 20 passing yards by the Colts, 61, 10 yards rushing. Time of possession belongs to the Colts, but the lead belongs to the Cowboys.
Yeah, and the big thing that these stats don't show is the punt return of Deion Sanders and the punt block. Those are really the Cowboys' 10 points.
That's Emmitt Smith, and he gets only a couple.
Big Sean King in on that play. He's had enough of that stuff, and they were kind of getting mauled there in the line of scrimmage, and they had to go to the right. And Sean King says that, you know, I'm going to get a little penetration like Greg Ellis did just a little while ago, and he did get the penetration, and he kind of mauled Emmitt Smith.
Sean King was with the Carolina Panthers. Chris Warren in the backfield this time.
This is that silent count here, Pat.
Aikman goes to the shotgun.
He'll start it with his hands, show his hands.
Ernie Mills back there to Aikman's left. Out to Ernie Mills. Lost control of the ball.
Oh, I think he got a good spot, though, Pat. I think he went out of bounds before that, but looked like the official gave him a couple feet there.
Yep.
That's going to be awfully close. Look at this. Ernie Mills was lined up in the backfield. He led him there. You see where his foot touches there. It's where the ball is. I don't know. You can't see that, but he was kind of fumbling and bumbling and everything. I don't even know that he had control.
You don't know how good a pass that was by Aikman. He couldn't throw it on a line. He had to lob it.
You don't know that, but that is one of the toughest passes to throw. That swing pass.
Here's Emmitt Smith again.
Here we go. Come on.
Emmitt to the 25.
You know, this offensive line of the Cowboys is so big and strong that they can just, if they want to, just overpower. And I think if they stay on that left side behind Flozell Adams and Larry Allen, that there's not much the Colts can do about it. The Colts are trying everything. I mean, they're stunting, they're blitzing, they're doing everything they can to try and foul up those run schemes.
LaFleur in motion. Here's Emmitt Smith again. Emmitt.
Did you see Larry Allen?
Yep.
I mean, Ellis Johnson is a good tackle.
Yes,
he's number
he is.
62.
Very active.
I don't mean to get carried away with a man in his block, but I want to show you a block. Now watch what this guy here does to this guy here. Now, if you want to be a blocker, you want to be a guard, you do this. That is called a pancake. I mean, that is manhandling. That is putting the guy right on his body.
That's a clean out.
Holy moly! I mean, that's some line play. I mean, if I ever went back into coaching, never would. If I could take one guy with me, it'd be that guy right there, old number 73, White.
Here's Emmitt again, and Emmitt gets the first down. Emmitt's had a busy day.
You know, and as I said, Ellis Johnson is a good player. He just doesn't know what to do now. So the thing that you always do is you say, just get low. And I watch Ellis Johnson. He gets so low there. He just took his head and just stuck it right in the ground. He said, I am not going to let Larry Allen get underneath my shoulder pads. So he just buried himself right in the turf on that play.
What are you going to do?
I have no idea. I'd ask for help. I'd stunt. I'd say, someone else, you try this a while.
That's LaFleur who moves over to the right end, and here's Emmitt Smith again. And Emmitt flashes into the secondary and down to about the 5-yard line.
And right in behind Larry Allen again over Ellis Johnson. There's nothing Ellis Johnson can do about it. They tried to shift, they tried to move, they try and do everything. And again, you're going to see it right here. I mean, Ellis Johnson has to line up. He has to end up right there. And I know it's not a one-man gang, but he's trying to do everything he can, and he's just getting manhandled there. He's getting whipsawed. I mean, he's getting blocked and turned and twisted, and he's trying everything. I mean, he's been up high. He's been down low. He's tried to move to the right or the left, and he can't get away from it.
Chris Warren is the deep back. Robert Thomas. Warren gets the carry, and Warren gets down to about the 4. Again, at the bottom of the pile is Larry Allen. What can you do in a situation like that? I mean, it's a helpless feeling.
I don't know. I always say that he's the best offensive lineman in football, and then When I say that, there are pundits. Is that the word, pundits, that argue with
that
me
is a word.
Tony Baselli is the best, and I don't know, but I would take this. You know, like anything that would be, you know, where you needed a guy to go with you. I think I'd take him.
Well, if Baselli is better, he should be outlawed.
I mean, I hate to make this a Larry Allen highlight film. He just took Cornelius Bennett. That time they ran to the right, but they still ran behind Larry Allen by having him pull, and he pulled and knocked Cornelius Bennett down, and I could feel it all the way and hear it all the way up here.
Chris Warren got the touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. I mean, watch, he's going to pull and make contact right here. Watch it. Here's where he's going to end up. Now watch that. Boom! Look at that. I mean, he knocked him right out of the picture. You kidding me?
Well, they got good blocks on the onside, too, from Big E and from Everett McIver. Eric Williams.
That's the thing that the Colts were worried about. It just happened on this drive. Just too big and strong.
Warren gets the touchdown. 17-3.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by the new redesigned Saturn S Series. By PSINet, the internet starts here. By cold, refreshing Zima. Zima, a few degrees cooler. And by Ameritrade. Believe in yourself.
That house is haunted for Halloween. I guess it's haunted all the time.
Yeah, it stays haunted, and they let the kids go through there at Halloween. And wouldn't you like to live like in a house like that?
No.
You lived one whole semester with no sheets, didn't you?
That's correct.
That's worse than a haunted house.
Terrence Wilkins gets it out to about the 25. I don't think there were no sheets, but there were none of those items either. The Cowboys 17, Indianapolis 3 in the second quarter. There's Larry Allen.
Yeah, see, he's getting some oxygen now after that job that he did on Ellis Johnson on that drive. I mean, that's as dominant, I think, as an offensive lineman can be on any drive. Larry Allen was on that last drive.
And Ellis Johnson tried everything. 1st and 10. Manning back to throw on 1st down. Dropped by Wilkins.
They are working Deion Sanders, you know, and we kept thinking it would be Marvin Harrison working on Deion Sanders, but it's Terrence Wilkins. Terrence Wilkins was an undrafted free agent.
Defense, 5-yard penalty.
This is against Deion.
Before the pass, 1st down.
Defensive holding.
There's Terrence Wilkins. He's number 80. Again, he's going to start across. You see, Deion Sanders has a hold of him right there.
He does.
And he starts across, and he just kind of runs away from him. I mean, he gets a step or two on Deion. Deion's figured that he's just about had enough of this. Terrence Wilkins, like I said, is an undrafted rookie free agent from Virginia.
Manning, the draw play to James. Outside the 35, picked up about 6.
You know, they have the combines here every year, and they invite the top 300 college players. And in fact, Terrence Wilkins wasn't even invited to the combine. So, I mean, a lot of teams really didn't have him in the top 300 players in the country. The Colts drafted him or signed him, I mean, because they needed a punt returner. And then in getting a punt returner, they got a pretty good receiver.
James again. Flag on the play.
Flags all over the place.
That has to be a face mask.
Deion Sanders lined up on the left the last 2 plays, Pat. He's been primarily on the right side the whole time, and I know that Dave Campbell wants to change it up, so he put him on the left the last 2 times.
Against Dallas, it'll give the Colts a 1st down.
Personal foul, face mask. On the defense, right quarterback, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, 1st down.
Charlie Williams.
Yep, it's right there.
No doubt about it. Moves him into Dallas territory to the Cowboy 45. Dallas leading 17-3.
Yeah, that was a 15-yard variety because they have 2 face mask penalties. One is a 5-yard if it's just incidental, and one is if you kind of grab it, hold on, and jerk the head. It's a 15-yard penalty.
That's Williams on Harrison. Look out. That ball is deflected, I believe.
Yeah, they were zoning over on that side, and they tried to hit Harrison between the short corner and the safety.
Next Sunday, the wait is over. The fall's biggest event's coming. Don't miss the most anticipated premiere of the new season, The X-Files. Next Sunday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Fox. It's like about the age of the young man who sang the national anthem.
Deion Sanders is covering in the slot now against Wilkins, something that you don't see very often. Although he's not a slot now because of motion.
Manning drops. Intended for James, who was jolted loose by Randall, Godfrey, and Hambrick.
You know, you just feel Randall Godfrey getting more comfortable each game we see as a middle linebacker. We talked about how he'd been an outside linebacker. They always knew they were going to move him inside, but now not only against the run but against the pass. I mean, it looks like he feels comfortable. He knows where he's supposed to be on every situation, and we know that he can do this too.
James is where he wishes he wasn't. Manning comes up on 3rd down to make sure everybody's got the snap count.
He gets his protection set.
Back too soon. The offensive line a little too anxious. As Tarek Glenn is saying that it wasn't him, that the defense moved. Defense can move.
Full start, 78 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Offensive line have a rule. He who argues is usually he who the penalty is on, and that he is right there, Tarek Glenn. Yeah, and he did move. There's all he could do was argue when you move like that. There's Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Colts, a very good one, and they also have a very good offensive line coach here in Howard Mudd.
3rd and 15. 3-man rush by the Cowboys. At least 3 are down.
Keep moving, man.
And it's a 3-man rush. Manning to Harrison. And a little scuffle breaks out after it's over.
Boy, there was some real hitting in there. I mean,
Isaiah Reese.
Yeah, he threw that ball in there, but he kind of let it into a lot of Cowboy traffic. Now this can either be an incomplete pass or a complete pass and a fumble. That's what they're talking about. Incomplete pass, of course, it would still be the Colts ball. Complete pass and fumble would be the Cowboys.
Is incomplete pass.
Well, let's hear. Look and then listen at the end.
Well, the first thing is the rule is did he have control of it? It doesn't look like if he ever had control of that. That's a big thing, and that's what they ruled, that he didn't have control of it.
Isaiah Reese was the man who did the hitting. And Deion Sanders back deep for Dallas again. Hunter Smith to punt it.
He's had one returned on him almost all the way, and he's had one blocked on him. And this is going to be a block here.
Too much time is what it's going to be first.
Now, the way you can tell it's a block is they usually have 2 guys out here on these gunners, two return guys out on the gunners. And when they only have 1 guy out on the gunners, that means that they're loaded up for a punt block.
There's a flag on the play.
Now here's the gunners out here, and see, when you only get 1 guy out there, That means that you have one guy. Here's the other side, so you have one guy.
57 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
So that means that you have one on either side and one punt returner, so that means you have 8 loaded up for a punt block. It'll be interesting to see if they do it again, but you can read it. If you put your gunners out there and there's only one guy in the gunners, then that means they have an 8-man load, and that's what they got. See, we only got one guy in the gunners, so the Cowboys are in a load inside, and they're going to come on a block.
And here they come. This kick is a lot better. It bounces out of bounds at about, well, let's see where he stops. About the 9. 8:38 remaining before halftime. Dallas leading 17-3 over Indianapolis. Back in Indianapolis, the Cowboys 17, Indianapolis 3. Pat Summerall, John Madden. The Cowboys have the ball at their own 9. The last time they had the ball, they just overpowered the Indianapolis defense. The offensive line just overpowered them. With the exception of Stepnoski, all those guys in that front line weigh about 330. Here's Emmett. Here's what I was just talking about. Look at the last drive.
Yeah, you just look at how Larry Allen dominated that last drive. And it was against, Ellis Johnson, who, as we said, did you see here, he tried everything. I mean, he tried to stay up high, he tried to stay low, he tried to go outside, he tried to go inside. Couldn't do anything. And then to finish it off, Larry Allen pulls and knocks Cornelius Bennett out of it for the touchdown.
2nd and 3. Aikman fake to Emmett. Takes his time, throws to Emmett. Emmett lost yardage. Cornelius Bennett.
That was good coverage because he was trying to get the ball downfield. Look what Emmitt Smith has done so far, and look at the success of it. He's only run 1 time to the left. That's outside for 3 yards. 2 times to the right. That was outside for 7 yards. But the bulk has been 9 times for 47 yards inside. And that's where Emmitt Smith runs best. That's where the Cowboys with Emmitt Smith over the years have always run best.
Thursday,
the Colts want a big play for their defense.
4 wide receivers. Chris Warren back next to Aikman. They're showing blitz, and here comes the blitz, and Aikman gets it out of there. In time to Jeff Ogden.
It's going to be in time, but it's not going to be enough for a first down, although it's going to be pretty close.
Yes, it is.
I mean, that spot, it looked like it was back, and then the official come in where he spotted. It's going to be short of a first down. The Cowboys are going to have to punt.
Steve Mohammed made the play for the Colts.
You can see the yellow line in there, and he's going to be about a yard or 2 short.
Toby going to punt for Dallas, and Terrence Wilkins back deep for Indianapolis.
This is the first time the Cowboys are punting today.
Yes.
This
6.5 minutes left.
This kid can break one.
Yes, he can. He almost broke a couple of kickoffs. Good kick from Golan. Boy, he catch that one. And down in a hurry is Jason Tucker to make the stop. Good coverage. And so Indianapolis take over inside their own 30, trailing 17-3.
We talked about the great punt of Toby Golan, but watch Jason Tucker here. This is a big part of it too, the coverage. He has double on him. He goes to the outside, gets out of bounds a little, then outruns the double coverage and makes a heck of a tackle. I mean, one thing is getting the punt that deep and that high, and the other thing is getting a guy like Jason Tucker to run down under it.
That's a heck of an effort by both Golan on the punt. Here's Manning giving to James. James. 8 questions. One night, over $2 million. The biggest game show in television history. A 2-hour event. Greed. the multi-million-dollar challenge, Thursday at 8 p.m. here on Fox. Greed, just plain old greed. 2nd and 3. Manning. Harrison gets a Colt first down.
I think as the Colts adjust, one of the things they're going to have to figure out is how to get the ball more to Marvin Harrison. We see that he gets up limping here, but that's only his 2nd catch right there. And as I said earlier in the game, if they're going to get big plays, they're going to get it from him. You know, I mean, he's their big play guy. He's their touchdown guy. He's the guy that, you know, that they have to have.
Reverse to Wilkins. At the line of scrimmage. Randall Godfrey again.
If Randall Godfrey doesn't watch out, he's gonna make the Pro Bowl here playing today. I mean, he's done everything. I mean, they've run at him. He made the play. They run away from him. He made the play. Now they come on a reverse and watch him. I mean, he gets all the way out to this sideline and watch him square up and make that tackle. Whew. He's so strong. And Wilkins isn't a big man.
No.
You know, he weighs about 180 pounds, but Godfrey really took him down with one arm.
2nd and 8.
But he had a whole heck of a lot behind that one arm, didn't he?
James. Out of bounds near first down yardage.
You know, as I watch Edgerrin James and, you know, number 32 in his Colt uniform, I think of Mike Curtis. You know, I mean, I think of Colts and his helmet and that blue jersey at number 32. And I'll tell you, we used to play against the Colts. In fact, one of the greatest games we ever had was the Raiders and the Colts went into 6 periods in Baltimore. And over the years, you know, one of the guys that gets lost is one of the great middle linebackers in the history of football is number 32 for the Colts, Mike Curtis.
3rd and 1.
Here comes Dion.
Here's James. Enough for the first. I'll never forget seeing Mike Curtis, was playing against him, but seeing him when a fan ran on the field and ran by the huddle, and the next thing he was picking up was himself.
And Mike Curtis said that this is his workplace, and you can't invade it, and he knocked him down.
Yes,
probably knocked him out, didn't he?
I think they had to help him off. I don't know if he was all the way out or not.
I think this is a first down. I was surprised they even measured it. Oops.
Just is.
Holy moly, maybe it's just not. Well, that just is.
Yeah.
But from up here, it looked like he had that safely. Look at that bracelet. You see that bracelet that Jim Moore is wearing? Sophie Pearl was the name of his granddaughter. Lives in Seattle. And she made that bracelet for him this summer.
At summer camp.
Yep, and asked him if he'd wear it during the game. And first game he did against Buffalo, and they won, so he's been wearing it ever since. Here's Wilkins.
Dexter Coakley made the stop.
One thing that the Cowboys have come in here today, they've come in hitting. And, you know, this is just a bunch of the type of hits. It hasn't been easy for these Colts. I mean, this Cowboy defense, as we look at it, you know, week to week, it seems to get sharper and sharper and crisper each week, don't they?
They really do. 2nd and 4.
Because they're good tacklers now.
Here comes the blitz. Manning gives it to James. And James stays on his feet, and James is finally caught from behind by Sanders. Edgar and James broke a couple.
Yeah, they had control of it, and then they got a little greedy. You were just talking about greed on something. The Cowboys had this thing under control. They get up there and they blitz. Now, once you break a blitz, and Edgerrin James gets right here, breaks a couple tackles, now he's free to the goal line. And if it's not for Deion Sanders in a foot race, he's going to score a touchdown.
He just flat ran over Isaiah Reese.
That's the thing. You leave your safety there. You leave the safety there when you go on the all-out blitz. And I thought the Cowboy defense had this thing under control. They get up there in the blitz, and Edgerrin James makes them pay for it.
And the Colts are at the door with 2 minutes left in the first half. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. And the Colts are at the door. James in the second quarter. He's been a late starter, but it usually takes him till the second half, not the second quarter.
He does pretty well in the second quarter, too.
Yeah. Manning is taken down. Dat win.
That's that Cowboy speed again.
Yep.
You would think that that Edgerrin James had just been running the ball there. You'd think that maybe he'll run it, but they put James here. They're trying to get him out in the fight. You see, it's just a sprint out. Now Dat win comes, and he is faster than Peyton Manning is.
Yes, he is.
Now, if Peyton Manning can run away from Dat win, he may have a shot at the end zone. You see, this is what he has back here, but there's pretty good coverage there. So he just has to run away from Dat win, and he couldn't do it.
One of the things they had said about Peyton Manning is that he doesn't take sacks. He just took one. Out of bounds is Harrison, knocked out by Deion Sanders.
Well, they had the ball down there in the goal line. Deion Sanders was out because Deion Sanders doesn't play goal line defense, but after taking that loss, then the Cowboys put their regular pass defense in again.
Third and goal at about the 8.
I was watching practice Friday and Saturday, and they practice in this area. Peyton Manning takes all his receivers and practice in this area inside the 10 with all of them individually. So they have plays from here that go into the end zone.
3-man rush. Too much time.
Yeah, that's Adam Meadows, I think, Pat. I think the right tackle, number 73, Adam Meadows, jumped. He had to, go outside.
Snap, false start. 73,
start.
offense.
Adam Meadows.
5-yard penalties and then
73.
Yeah, you're going to see him right here. You see he started jumping. He has that outside rusher.
Yep.
And you don't have to jump and go out and get him right now. I mean, you can just kind of back up as you move out there, and that's what his offensive line coach, Howard Mudd, right there is thinking. He's probably going to tell him you don't have to jump out like that before the ball snap.
Third and goal. 3-man rush again by the Cowboys. Or 3 men down. They may rush more. Only 3. Manning had Harrison. He got behind him a little bit. He had 6.
Marvin Harrison did his job. Peyton Manning didn't do his. You're going to see Harrison. He's going to start out here. Then he's going to run a post pattern, which is down and in towards the goal post. And Peyton Manning's going to throw it a little behind him. Had he just let him a couple feet more to the right in front of him, he would have had a chance at that.
Vanderjack from 31 yards out is good again. It's 17-6. The Cowboys escape with only a field goal. 1:15 left in the first half. There is Eric Dickerson, who began his career, of course, after playing at SMU, then to the Rams, and then here. Tonight on Fox Halloween Sunday, an all-new King of the Hill presents The Little Horrors of Shop. Then it's an all-new Simpsons Halloween special, part of a full hour. The X-Files episode banned from network TV until now. All starts tonight at 7:30, 6:30 Central on Fox. Kite kicked off. Jason Tucker brings it out. (17-6) the Cowboys over the Colts. Halloween. And downtown Indianapolis was jumping this weekend, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, and it's going to be jumping here at halftime for Eric Dickerson, who they're going to honor for his induction this year into the Hall of Fame. Talk about a guy that had some numbers.
Oh, man, could he run?
I'll tell you, with the Los Angeles Rams and then here with the Indianapolis Colts, and he has some of his big old blockers down here with him, too.
Including a guy who put some numbers up for the Cowboys as well. Ray Donaldson.
Yeah, Ray Donaldson, and Ray Donaldson is right in here behind him. Right there is Ray Donaldson. Not only blocked for Dickerson here in the Colts, but then he went and he did it for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, until they got Mark Stepnoski back this year, didn't adjust to the loss of Ray Donaldson.
After Stepnoski left the first time, Donaldson came in and they were just as good. Here's Emmitt Smith again. Emmitt bounces to a Cowboy first down, hit by Mike Peterson.
And, you know, at one time they had Larry Allen and Donaldson lining up together. And I'll tell you, when the two of them would start like this, see how Stepnoski is doing it with Larry Allen? They just knock guys right out of round. I mean, the guy starts, he's on his axis, he's in round, and he gets boom, and he gets knocked right out of round.
And they just go in another direction. Chan Gailey heads to the dressing room for the halftime readjustments, as do the Colts. JB and Terry and Howie and Chris come along with scores and highlights. Fox News update on the Egyptian air crash coming up.